Aaron Rodgers announced today on the Pat McAfee show that as of last Friday, after his sojourn in a Hobbit dark cave with maybe lights if he wanted them on, we're not for sure, that he intends to sign with the New York Jets or play for the New York Jets. And now the holdup is just what that trade compensation will be. So he made it very clear he's not the one that's holding this trade up. He has decided, hey, if y'all can work out that compensation, I'm going to play for the Jets. So now he's just waiting on those two teams to figure out what that compensation is going to be. So he's going to hang up that cheese head. He's going to fly over to New Jersey for the Jets Jets. Now, as our Packers expert, Chase, how are you feeling?
I was prepared. I mean, it hurts. All my life, I've been watching the player that I considered the most talented thrower of the football win games for the Green Bay Packers, and now I've got to watch him go and play for another team. But I'm happy for Aaron, right? He said, he talked Pat McAfee, and he talked about how much he loved Green Bay and how he just knew that it wasn't his turn anymore, right? It's Jordan's time. We did this. We selected Jordan Love. The Green Bay Packers selected Jordan Love. And if he hadn't went on two crazy runs, won MVP twice, he'd already be gone, right? We were moving him out already. We just got 2 extra special years with Aaron Rodgers, which I'm grateful for. Those are 2 of the best years of Rodgers playing that I couldn't stay away from the TV screen. I'll be rooting for the Jets. I mean, that team's, I think there's bigger problems than just quarterback over there. But the Packers, man, I just hope that we could get not a Stafford trade, but man, I hope we don't have to take an Amari Cooper like trade where we trade him for a 5th or a 3rd. I've seen reports where the Jets were offering 2 4th-round picks because he's kind of got us. I think the Packers are okay with him sitting on our bench this year, not playing football. Right? We're not signing anyone. Green Bay is not a big free agency guy. We've got money. We restructured people. We signed the players that we want to sign back. We're okay going in a year with Rodgers on the bench so we don't get fleeced in the trade. That's the Green Bay way. They're a very old organization. But circling back to Rodgers, I've got so many mixed emotions, and I just want to say that I'm riding with Green Bay. Rodgers can go have his fun in New York, pay that extreme taxes, and come back to Green Bay when he retires.
So, obviously it'll be interesting to see what the trade compensation is, for that, to see if, how much the Jets are going to be able, to give up, what they're able to do in the future to see if they're able to still build around that. Because I agree with you. I don't think they're just a quarterback away. But now I saw that the Jets are now the 4th out of the AFC. They're the 4th favorited team to make the AFC Championship, or to win the AFC Championship, to win the AFC, pending that Aaron Rodgers does become, a Jet 100%, behind the Chiefs, Bills, and Bengals. To me, that is a little rich, because I don't think that the Jets would be the 4th best team in the AFC, even with Rodgers. My questioning is did Aaron is he making the right decision, choosing to go to the Jets instead of choosing to stay with the Packers? Because if he says he's staying with the Packers are going to play him, right? They're not going to sit him to play Jordan Love if Rodgers says, hey, I want to stay in Green Bay and play, right?
I would think so, right? You haven't seen enough of Jordan Love. The thing during his talk on the Pat McAfee show today, he kind of mentioned that the vibes that he got and the comments he got when he returned from his, hole in the wall in the mountain darkness retreat was that he wasn't really welcome back there, that his time was up and it was time for the new guy to come. And he said that he knew that because that's the way it felt when Brett Favre was there. That's he's been through this already on the other side. So now he says it's full circle. So I don't think that Rodgers was going to come back anyway. I don't think there was a chance. I thought he was actually going to retire. I thought that was the last game that we seen off. That's why he walked off with Randall Cobb. I thought he said that he was 90% retiring going into that darkness retreat, got out of it, worked out for a week, and said, hey, I can still play. And so then once he said, I can still play, he went, who wants me? the Jets. Sorry, not the Giants, the Jets. So I don't think there was even a possibility of him coming back. I think it was Jordan's time, and I'm excited for Jordan. You know, he had a lot of potential. Not my favorite guy coming out of college, but a lot of potential. So who knows? Who knows? He could be the new Pat Mahomes, right? Sat for a couple of years, first year starting MVP season.
I mean, anything can happen. I mean, if we're being honest, but I just think it's tough. So do you think that this actually makes the Jets actually contenders? Because so every year Aaron Rodgers was with the Packers, they were contenders every single year. Going to the Jets, do you think this makes Jets actual contenders?
No, I don't think year one they can. It's hard. Aaron Rodgers puts you into playoff contention every year. I think the Jets make the playoffs. I think the Dolphins make the playoffs. I think the Bills make the playoffs. I think all three of those teams make the playoffs. You can pick which one wins their division, which ones get a wild card. But I do not see the Jets as a better all-around team than the Chargers, than the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals, or even the Jaguars. I think all five of those teams are better all around built and coached than the Jets. So is Aaron Rodgers going to come in and completely change the organization? Who knows? You know, he is that quality of a quarterback. Can he get back to that is the real status. If you get MVP Aaron Rodgers, then there is a potential for Super Bowl every year. But if you get the Rodgers that we've seen last year, they'll be first round playoff exits.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think that we just if Rodgers wasn't able to win it these past 5 years with Green Bay, I don't see how he's going to win it with the Jets in the AFC, right? I mean, he went to 3 straight NFC Championship games at home in Lambeau. Lost some other playoff like division round games in Lambeau. Last season, obviously, didn't even make the playoffs. He had a shot. All he had to do was win that game in Lambeau, and it's just all these things where it's like these perfect situations fell in his lap to home field advantage, playing in Lambeau in the cold, like we're supposed to win, and he just couldn't do it. As good as he was, these MVP seasons, playing in, fantastic during the regular season, when it really came down to it in the playoffs, these past 3 or 4 seasons, he just hasn't been able to do it. And so I'm not saying, Rodgers is washed by any means. I still think he's a top 5 quarterback in the league, 100%. But just from what I've seen, I just don't see all of a sudden going over to the Jets, even though they have very good talent on both sides of the ball. Probably more talented than Green Bay at the moment. You can maybe, talk about that as well. You think if that's true or not, but just looking at kind of the skill players that they have on offense and what they have on defense, I think they're probably a little bit better, at least on paper, than the Packers. But what I think overall is the fact that just the AFC is so much more difficult than the NFC, and so leaving the NFC to go to the AFC is going to be a tough ask for Rodgers. And I think a lot of Rodgers' comments and stuff has been putting it off on the organization and on his teammates why they haven't been successful. And now going to the Jets, he's not going to have that excuse, and the Jets are going to live or die by Aaron Rodgers.
I agree, and I'm 100% on the camp that Rodgers is not washed, and I think I don't think there's been recently a team that's worse about helping out a quarterback than the Packers, but on the same side is Rodgers is very good at not taking any blame himself, right? He takes blame for the small things, right? I watched him, his finger broke and they asked him, hey, did that broken finger affect your throw at the end of the Giants game when you lost that in overtime? He said, no, I just missed the throw. But then when he lost the game to the Lions, he was like, well, you know what? Our defense didn't hold. Our playmakers aren't there. I had a bad game, but my playmakers, how am I supposed to play? So it's interesting whether he can vibe with these players.